Hello everyone, my name is Andy Tantowi. I am the art director and sculptor of Printerraverse Studios. I will walk you through our August release, which is, if you can see here, it is Osirian Raptor versus the Romanus Legionnaire, and explain the features on what you actually and get in this month release. So alright, let's get started. All model in this release is already pre-supported, so you just have to put it in the resin printer without having to do the supports by yourself. We have our good friend here from Atlas that actually does the supporting work, so everything is have come pre-supported. You just have to plug it in the lychee slicer or whatever slicer you want to use, then print it on the resin printer. In Printerraverse release each month, you will always notice that there's certain type of class for the minis, right? So for example, some are the soldier types. If you can see here, it is the soldier types, and this is the like the commander types, and we always include several like the generals, right? And maybe it's either a colossal model, which is bigger than usual models, or a terrain, and we also include some bases. Now every release we will always put in our mascot, which is these two cats. Their name is Daz and Hagen, right? So each month, each team, they are just doing cosplays, right? So you will receive this mascot, and if you follow us long enough and subscribe from the beginning, you will have lots of cats with different outfits. So yeah, so in this release we are trying something new, which is to include a bigger model, so a display size. If you look here, right, so this is actually the Legion Lord model, but it's bigger and more detailed. And we also always include a one piece of 100mm base. So well, let's do this side by side, right? So let's start with the Osirian Raptor first, then we move on to the next one. Let's see the Infantry Lord. So okay, here you can see we actually base it on the Egyptian theme. Let me change the material real quick so you can see it more clearly. So if you see here, this is actually based on our past release, which is the Osirian collectives, right? Now the Osirian collectives are this robotic sci-fi army with the Egyptian theme, right? So we actually expanded on that theme with this current release. So this is actually like the same faction that with our past releases. If you can see here, the Osirian collectives actually have a little cameo. So this is actually the head of the past Osirian releases, right? Right. So this is the models. So next up is let's see the cat. Right. So this is Osirian Daz. So this is basically Daz cosplaying as one of the Osirian member of the army. You can see the costume, you might say, the helmet, and this release of Osirian Raptor is actually based on bird, because the Osirian past release, right, it's just based on you have the pharaoh headpiece, right, the Egyptian headpiece, like the head thing. Now in this team we want to add a little bit to that, so it's like a next step version of it. So you can see we included this bird like beak to everyone. Basically it's to emulate a bird, right? But you still have the head scarf, you still have some of the fur, the feathers. I'm also inspired by Yu-Gi-Oh. You might see some inspiration I pull from Yu-Gi-Oh's Winged Dragon of Ra with this earpiece over here. I love you. I'm kind of nervous, I'm sorry. So yeah, next is oh yeah, this one, the Terror Bird. It is actually a colossal model, so it's bigger than the rest. Now how big it is, Let's find out. This is the usual size for the minis. If you can see here, it's quite big, right? Now, don't worry, the model, even though it's big, it won't cost you so many resin. Why? Because we took the initiative to actually make it like hollow, but it's very clean and smooth inside, and we also have a drain hole that you will not see if you put on the rider on top of it. But the point stands that you will not have a suction force, like a pull force, right? Because you have the drain hole from a lots of angles, and the inside is actually smooth, so there's not really a lot of detail to mess up your print inside the models. Now assembled, it will look like this, right? It's flipped in the camera, but yeah, you can see I put the rider here. But if you want to add one more from the army, you can put it here at the top. This is actually the other side, the versus side. But yeah, I just prime this and do some dry brush of white so we can see the details. All right, so let's assemble it. The rider sits atop of the bird. Now, if you see here, we've actually added like some sort of ball joint, so you can know where to put it. But yeah, now this is the whole model. But if you want, you can insert one more rider from the other model sitting at the top there. But if you don't want, it's also okay. So it will seem just fine with or without one, with or without the other one. Now this is from the other infantry. So yeah, this is a full terror bird. Right, continue on. Let's see, after the terror bird we have the pot, right? The pot base. Now for the past release, every base that we did have a solid underbelly, right? But for now we actually took the time to hollow it, because we found out with experiments that resin print sometimes get warped, or if your settings is not right. Now to actually counter that thing, we actually figure out we'll just sand it down. Now the problem with a base is if it is solid, you must sand out a lot of resin away, and you waste a lot of resin for nothing. Now the solution is to make it hollow, so even though if you have to sand it, you are only sanding the outer parts, this and this, right? Now let's check it out. Let's see, this is 25 mm, very small. I know it seems broken here in the screen, but this is actually very big. The real one is maybe like only this size, so don't get bothered with the resolution. This is also a factor of decimation. We simplify the mesh so you can still upload it and download it with ease, but rest assured, when printed, it will not compromise your details. Now if you see here at the bottom part, it is hollow. So if God forbid it warped, you can just sand this parameter here, so less surface area than if the base is full solid. You can see here every pot bases with the sizes: 25 mm, 28 mm, 32 mm, 40 mm, 50 mm, 60 mm. Now same with the other side, but for the pot base we are adding 100 mm base. Same, but this is also hollow, so don't worry. Let's check it out. Now this is the 100 mm. Now see, when it is bigger models, the decimation doesn't feel as jarring as the small ones, right? Because you only get it this size and you blew it up this big in the screen. Now if you look here, ta-da, it is still hollowed, but rest assured it still fit in Sonic Mini 4K. So everything we did, we did it so it would fit in our hardware partner, Frozen brand, Sonic Mini 4K. For now it's the smallest printer size they have. So we have discussed the bottom part. Now let's see on the general part, the Sabex. So it is a crocodile, right? But because Sabek is usually depicted as a crocodile in Egyptian mythology, and we want to give it a scarab wings for an armor. So yeah. Also, this is also using the same-ish weapon from our past Osirian release. And if you see here, this is a really nice touch. I put this in a hieroglyph generator, and it should have said ANDY, right? So I put some little signature there. Not necessarily important thing, but I like to play around with these kind of things. Alright, so yeah. Now this is an unmasked version, right? No, that is Sabek number 1. We actually have 3 Sabek. Why do we release stuff in 3? Because we are planning for a game system that will utilize the army in 3. Now, don't worry if you think, I want to build an army with more models, right? So one army consisted of not only 3 Sabek. I want maybe 5 Sabek, 8, 10 Sabek, right? Now, don't worry, we will revisit the theme, such as this. We actually revisited Osirian themes this time. We did it in the past, and we will still revisit in the future. So don't worry on getting more of your favorite models. Now, this one wearing a scarab helmet. Why? Because scarab wings, scarab helmet, right? Again, inspiration from Yu-Gi-Oh! I know, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Right. It's actually a crocodile wearing a scarab helmet. Next, same model, different poses, so you can build your army without using all the same models. It's quite monotone. Continue on, we have 6 infantry. All of them are actually wearing this bird Ra helmet. Let's find out. I'll just choose one because you can already see it in the posters to save time. Let's see this. Right. Oh, I picked the best in my opinion because he is actually using this Egyptian sword called Kopesh. I've added some hieroglyph carving there. Oh yeah. Also, every models you've seen in our release would be the term is watertight, so it is actually filled in terms of gaps, so you won't have like floating dangerous parts that broke off and damage your printer. Now, if you want to print in FDM, you can also do it, but I would recommend scaling it a little bit, like maybe 300% or something. But if you want to use it for as is, the details will not shown as good as if you are using a resin printer, right? So yeah, the rest you can see here. We have several versions, kneeling down, at standby, shooting, carrying the gun, and then we have the one without a helmet. So yeah, this actually fits really well with our past Osirian release. Now, that is the Osirian Raptor. It is part of the bigger Osirian collectives. Now, the Romanus Legionnaire. Now, this is a new theme that we revisit. Not exactly, because we already have Roman releases from our crowdfund. So this should somehow still be able to be used with it. Shout out to those of you who supported us during that crowdfund. Really appreciate it. So yeah, let's start with same with the commander, right? The Legion Lord. Now this is a Legion Lord file. You see he have this eagle stick and a banner, so you know he's big shot. Also with guns. with a cape. I have actually printed him out with both sides. So this is the where's the camera? This is a usual size minis. So this is the Legion Lord fresh from the oven. Now if you see, I also have another one which is bigger. I don't scale this up, right? It is different models that you will get if you subscribe to us. And now if you look here, you have two versions, right? This one is more detailed. Now how different can you see? You can see a lot of carving, more textures, overall just more details to paint if you like that kind of things, right? Display sizes. So yeah, you can see it. So in actual product, they will look like this. In terms of size, it's twice the height. This is for painting purposes. Now compared to the terror bird, I'm sorry for my accent. English is not my first language. If you see here, it's still a little bit under the terror bird, but yeah. Alright, continue on. So the Romanus Hagen is also one of our mascot. Alright, so this is the other part. And rest assured, all cats, we don't do this in the past, but going forward, we actually try to hollow our cats. So yeah, safe resin, because the cats could be quite some size to print. If you see here, it's quite bulky. So yeah, we hollow them. And okay, what's next? Okay, so the base, same, they are hollowed, so don't worry on it. And these are the different sizes. Alright, so the colossal for Romanus is actually a lioness. So you can it's actually a mount, right? Now we originally do it with crossbow, because you know, Romans and crossbow. But again, we would love to include a sci-fi extension or customization, you might say, so people can choose between the crossbow and the gun variation. So you can use it for fantasy and sci-fi games, or just do both in one game. It's also okay. Now in print, in actual print, it will look like this. This is the gun variation, but you can see the crossbow later on. Now this is actually separated. So the minis, the character riding on top, is actually a whole soldier. If you see here, sorry, holding a gun with a pack. Alright, there it is. And then you just have this compartment over here, so you can just slot it in. Ta-da! The lioness ready to gallop and shoot. Now for the lioness, let me show you the variation of the crossbow. This is the lioness, lion, Roman, right? So one of the symbol of Roman Empire is actually they really love their lions. If you can see, we use like what do you say, hexagon pack, so you can make them turn like whatever degrees you want. So we will try to add the leg. You can see here, this is the leg. What now, when it's inserted, it's like this. The other leg is the right one, right? Now it's like this. When you add the crossbow extension, Legion gun, Legion crossbow, right? Whoops, sorry, got messed up a little bit in terms of position, but don't worry, we can still add it on. Now if you look here, yeah, it fits. Now this is the crossbow variation. Same, alone it's just another single model. You could just use it as it is, or you can just pack it in the Lioness. It stands atop inside the compartment, so it fits snugly. And rest assured, the body is really solid. There's no gaps whatsoever, so it's easier for you to print, right? It's watertight. All right, so continue on. This is the shields. Hey, let me get to this guy first, the long rifle. This is just basically this guy but on foot, on land, and carrying this Romanus sigil. Let me just open it for you. Well, it's quite long rifle. So I've actually printed it out also. So in actual drop my phone. So in actual world, in the real world, this is how it look like, right? All right, so yeah, so that's that. And continue on. This the shield, this is the hoplites of the Romans, right? So they carry a shield and the phalanx. So we try to do swappable parts. If you look here, I have a set fully printed, even though I already glued them together, but I'm sure you can still see. Now, because it is using ball joint, you can actually pose it around really freely. Is it focused? Yeah. So you see, we have actually a round joint for them, so you can just swap around and mix and match. Let me show you one of them. This is the body. You see here, right? It's actually have a round joint, so you can freely move it around. So continuing, you see, you can actually move it around. And for future release, we will try to use the same thing again, so you can use it for no matter when, no matter what release. If it is the same shield wall commander, you will be able to still use the parts that you already own, right? So yeah, it's hard to do it in this software, but when you print it out, it will be easier to pose, right? Now he also have a shield. Now if you see, it's also on a ball joint. We have several types of arms that you can pick from. You have several poses, the body also several, but yeah, there's no limitation on what you can do with this set, right? You can use this guy but with this guy's arm, or vice versa. Feel free to. Now the last part is the soldier and the rifle. I'll just showcase one. You can see the rest in the poster. Now if you see here, don't worry, it is all solid, so don't worry about the hard details, right? Now this is the long guns. We have the hood on them. If you look at the other, which is the soldier, they have shorter weapons. It's more like AK in English, right? AK. Same, the back is solid, so don't worry on it. So yeah, there you go. I actually have them printed here. I pulled them off the glue tag, but if you see here, this is them huddled together. Alright, so that's our release. It should be out on the 1st of August. Tune in to our social media to actually subscribe and get it. So we are actually on My Mini Factory, Tribes, and also you can find us on Patreon. So subscribe to us on the month of August to get Osirian Raptor versus Romanus Legionnaire. Have fun!